I got one agenda. How many people understand truly, not just in your brain, but in your body, the power of a ketone? Raise your hand if you're like, yes, I love ketones. Okay. Wait, keep your hands up for a second, because I think it's interesting. There's a lot of the menopausal women, which is part of my agenda here. Okay, thank you. So my number one thing that I have for you all is I hope after the next 28 minutes and 19 seconds that you understand the absolute magic of a ketone for the menopausal brain. For over 10 years on my YouTube channel, I have been teaching fasting. And I have watched, I am not joking, we have watched millions of people fast. 95% of those people are women. 90% of them are over 40. And as I've gone out into the world to talk about fasting, yes, I've had a lot of love sent my way, and I really appreciate it. And I've had a lot of criticism, and I've had a lot of people who are, a lot of postmenopausal women who are scared of fasting. And if we can just all be honest, any postmenopausal women are like, I'm not sure I want to fast, or practitioners who are nervous. The get out of jail free card for mental challenges over 40 is the ketone. And I want to show you why. When the brain fog, the irritability, the lack of focus becomes really real, it is the ketone, because the menopausal brain was meant, as it went through this massive hormonal shift, it was meant to switch from glucose to ketones. So if I'm 48 years old and I have brain fog and hot flashes and insomnia and weight gain, where's the ketone in your life? That is what I want to bring forward to you all, because and if I'm riled up, I watch what people are saying out there on socials, and I don't understand why we're not informing menopausal women that when the brain goes awry, it's because you need a different fuel source. So I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version really quickly, because we've got a room full of practitioners and people who are very educated in their own health. So first, here's the deal. That at about 40, what ends up happening is that your major sex hormone, now we got 3 of them, but this was kind of a biggie. Her name is estrogen, and she has actually one specific version of her, and her name is estradiol. And estradiol worked miracles in your body. She bathed your brain. She went and made sure that your joints were lubricated. She released an egg every month. She was like the diva. The other thing she did is make you insulin sensitive. She helped manage your metabolic system. And when she left the building, so did your metabolic system, which is why my team right now is answering questions on my YouTube channel that go something like this. I don't understand. I'm 43 years old. I started gaining weight. It's all around the midsection. I didn't change anything. What is happening to me? Millions of questions. What is happening to you is your metabolic system changed along with your hormonal system. You can't separate these two out. So for the practitioners, I really want you to help me educate the women on this, because I can tell you, after looking at these millions of comments that we get, women aren't getting this message that the metabolic system changed with menopause. So your body is less able to use glucose. Let me make this really, really simple. Your favorite pasta meal at 35 that didn't bother you at all, at 45 makes you sleepy, you gain weight, you've got brain fog, you can't think. Same meal, 10 years later, different environment inside the body. So we've got to start looking at menopause through the lens of this is when insulin resistance begins. Okay. Well, what are some early signs of insulin resistance? I mean, I know that y'all know, but I'm just going to point it out because I want you to see it through a different lens. How many people, whether yourself or your patients, have heard a woman in her 40s say, I don't know, I'm just gaining weight and I don't even understand why? You start gaining weight despite any change in diet or exercise. How many of you have heard, I don't know why we care about the belly so much? Like, I mean, the six-pack abs, come on, guys. Like, they left a long time ago. But if we even had it. But menopausal belly weight. I can tell you, if you're practitioners, I have over 2,500 videos on my YouTube channel. We get over 2 million views every single month. And you know what the most popular topic is? Menopausal belly weight. That is what these women are really struggling with. We have increased sugar cravings, we have hypoglycemia, we have sleep disturbances, we have brain fog, we have trouble focusing, and we have fatigue. Okay, we're at a metabolic conference. It's easy to look at that and go, yeah, that makes sense. That's insulin resistance. What else is this? What else are we learning these symptoms come from? Menopause. So I'm 42 years old. I walk into my doctor's office and I'm like, I'm gaining weight. I can't think straight. I can't sleep. My brain fog. And what am I given? Antidepressant. What else? Hormone replacement. They think this is an estrogen problem. I'm going to be as bold to tell you this is not an estrogen problem. This is an insulin resistance problem. And I call this the Dr. Mindy Uncensored Tour. Something has happened to me. I turn 56 next week, and I can't help but just say it like it is anymore. So, I have brought numerous menopausal experts on to my podcast, many of which you would know, many of which have big books out there, many of which that are steeped in the medical profession. And I have asked them specifically over and over and over again, if I have these symptoms, is my only choice HRT? And their answer is yes. It is an insulin resistance problem. I even had one of the medical doctors who just put out a book, I will not say her name, and I said, is there anything I can do while I take my HRT? And she said, no, I can't think of anything. Do you know anything? Exercise. Right, like it was crazy. Okay, anyways, I go on. So I'll tell you what I teach my audience. There is one number to look at. There is one number. I was just on a podcast yesterday morning where the demographics of the podcast was 20 and 30-year-olds. And the host asked me, what can a 30-year-old do to make sure that their menopausal ride is much better? And I was like, let me make it really simple. You follow your hemoglobin A1C, and you know that number, and you get that number in the healthy range. This is what they're recommending is normal, that less than 5.7. I don't know about you, but if somebody comes into my world and they have a 5.7 hemoglobin A1C, I'm gonna be like, you gotta get that down. You gotta get that down. My range is like bare minimum, healthy range is 5.0 to 5.5. I am a proud 56-year-old who just did blood work last week and has a hemoglobin A1C of 4.5. I am incredibly proud of. So we've got to start teaching that this is the number. If you want to balance your hormones as you go through menopause, watch this number. This is the number. And I was just looking, we have a Slack channel in our amongst my team, and I was just looking at, we have this one thing on called a gratitude channel, and my team puts all the really beautiful comments that people give us. And this morning I was looking at this woman who had lost her cycle, and she had been gaining weight. She was in her late 30s, and she left us a beautiful message saying that the minute she started fasting according to the way I taught it in Fast Like a Girl, that not only did she lose weight, but her hemoglobin A1C went from a 5.8 with overtime to a 5.0 just by fasting alone. So this number is a real workable number. This woman knew that, and she had a target, which was really important. So why does insulin resistance impact our hormones? We have to remember that hormones work like a team. When one of the members of the team goes down, the rest of the team has to work harder. And there is a hierarchy to hormones. And at the bottom of the hierarchy, menopause, North American Menopause Society, is sex hormones. And sex hormones are dramatically controlled by insulin. Perfect example of this is PCOS and infertility. Those are insulin-resistant problems. You fix those two, and you fix insulin resistance, and those two situations start to improve. If you're shocked on the infertility one, read Fast Like a Girl. That book has helped make so many babies. It's unreal. We get comments on that all the time. Above insulin is cortisol, which is why I can go to my YouTube channel right now and I could look at the comments and I can see over and over and over again women that are like, I'm doing everything you said, but I'm not losing weight. And then we scratch a little below the surface. Tell me about your daily movement. Tell me about your life. Tell me about your stress loads. Tell me about, well, I'm working out harder. I'm fasting more. I have a family. I'm working. I'm on planes all the time. That's why you're not losing weight. You have cortisol so maxed out that you can't get insulin sensitive. And if you can't get insulin sensitive, you can't balance your hormones, North American Menopause Society. And above cortisol is oxytocin, which is why I got on a plane to get a hug from that beautiful woman, because we've been talking on Zoom and I needed in-person time so that I could get oxytocin, because I'm a 56-year-old postmenopausal woman that wants to make sure that all my hormones are in balance. So we got to get off our screens. We got to get off of Zoom. We got to hug each other, and we got to get, if nothing else, to balance our sex hormones. Now, if you're like, well, this is all like warm fuzzy, then let's look at the science, which we don't have a lot of, but I'll show you what I found, that an increase in insulin resistance is associated with higher hemoglobin A1C and a decrease in sex hormones. Now, I will tell you, because I've sat with a lot of the menopausal experts out there, they look at this study and they say, well, go on HRT and now you will be insulin sensitive. Let's talk to the practitioners. How many people have found that to be 1,000% true every single time? We have another list of comments that come through that I'm on HRT, I can't get hemoglobin A1C down, I'm still gaining weight. HRT is not the only answer, but it is, okay, Dr. Mindy Uncensored. I'm not joking. There is a big pharma playbook that's going on out there, and they're backing authors like me. I don't take any supplement money. I don't take anything. I don't have any sponsors. I am just Dr. Mindy Pelz. You can't buy your way to my audience. But big pharma is funding many of the menopause influencers right now. A big article just came out in Australia that they're trying to get, what they do is they create fear. They have an expert stand up, create fear, and then they come in and go, oh, don't worry, you don't need to suffer, we got a medication for it. So what's happening in the menopause conversation right now is all eyes are on HRT, and you're probably experiencing this in your practices where they're like, well, what about HRT? What about HRT? So just sit tight. It's going to be a tight moment, and then the pendulum's going to swing, because I'm working on making it swing. When we look at some of the chronic disease problems, these are the things that we're like, you got to take HRT because you're going to get Alzheimer's and dementia. By the way, I interviewed Dr. Sarah Mackay on my podcast. If y'all haven't heard her, you're going to need to listen to this podcast. She's like, there's no evidence that HRT actually prevents dementia. And she's a neuroscientist that specializes in the female brain, FYI. So diabetes type 3, we already know that is Alzheimer's, but is that the message that's getting out there? Right now we're just talking about the fact that, you don't want to get Alzheimer's, get on HRT. Cardiovascular disease, hypertension, type 2, obesity. The other really common video that does really well on my channel is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So many women are suffering with that, and chronic kidney disease. And the menopausal conversation is saying HRT will fix this. And what I'm saying is fasting, ketones, good diet is gonna fix this. And then you see if you need it.
Okay, check this out. I have a free fasting guide for you all. It's free. And it's gonna teach you all the basics of fasting. It's gonna teach you how to kill hunger when you fast, which is really cool. And it's gonna show you how to break your fast, among many other things. All you gotta do is click on the link below and enjoy.
Hemoglobin A1C at its core, I know it tells us a lot of things, but at its core, it is telling us how well these red blood cells are delivering oxygen to our tissues. And when you have glucose in your body that your body doesn't know how to use, it gums up these red blood cells. So envision like a red blood cell with a bunch of pieces of gum on it, trying to deliver oxygen to the brain, to the joints, to every tissue in the body, and it can't get the oxygen there because of the extra glucose gum that's on the outside of its cell. I mean, if you can get oxygen to your brain's not gonna function right. Now, we also know that we've got this advanced glycation end products, these AGEs that we throw around on videos and biohacking conferences. It just sounds so fancy. But let's look at what happens when you have too much glucose in the system. You're not delivering oxygen to tissue that needs oxygen, and the end product of glycation is inflammation, impaired neuroplasticity. What does impaired neuroplasticity look like? It looks like a woman saying, I can't read a book. I've had so many women go, I can't read a book. I can't bring in that information into my brain. It's not sticking. Yeah, we need to get your neuroplasticity up. Disrupts normal hormone production. Okay, what if I've got a hemoglobin A1C of 6.0 and you rub some estrogen cream on me? Am I all of a sudden going to be completely normal and have a normal hormonal production? I think most women are saying no these days. It blocks even the receiving. So let's say I love my HRT, and I don't know why I'm on an HRT kick today, but I am. Let's say but my HRT and my doctor saved me. Okay. Do we know if you put a cream or a pellet or a patch from the outside of your body into the most miraculous ecosystem that has the most miraculous intelligence inside of it, do we know that cream is going into a cell? Do we have a measurement of that to actually activate the cell? Well, what causes cellular dysfunction? Too much glucose, too many toxins. Bruce Lipton taught us negative thoughts. There's so much going on in that cell that the reason I'm so fired up about this conversation is you have all these women out there rubbing cream, putting pellets in, putting patches on with no idea if it's even doing anything for them. And what happens to women when women start to get advice from the almighty doctor and that doesn't work is that women don't go, the doctor must be wrong, the HRT's not working. Women turn on themselves. And they start to say, something's wrong with me, must be my problem, I must have done something wrong. This is what we see over and over again on all of our platforms, is that when we tell women, you have to do it this way, and it doesn't work out, they think they're the problem. And that is why we need to bring in a deeper, a wider conversation around this. So how do we get ketones into the menopausal brain? How do we get women more metabolically flexible? This is what I've been on a mission teaching for over 10 years on social media. And I want to tell you a little bit of a story. I actually started on YouTube because of a group of what I call mama bears. I had a group of 40-year-old women that my practice was in Silicon Valley, that were these very amazing moms. They had amazing families. They would tell me, like, I have an incredible husband. I live in a beautiful house. My kids are killing it. But I need to understand how to keep my family healthy because nobody ever taught me how to keep my family healthy. So I took this group of mama bears and I took them to Costco. And I showed them, hey, do you see all the green labels? That's actually, these are organic. And you see this nutrition label here? See all these numbers up here? They don't mean anything. Let's go down here and let's look at these words. Can you pronounce these words? If you can't pronounce these words, they're probably toxins. And then I would hold these talks every single month in my office over and over again, being like, here's how your hormones work. Here's how your brain works. And it became so popular that the mama bears were like, hey, can we video this and put it on YouTube? And so it was these beautiful women and their vulnerability, and this is what women do. We gather around each other and support each other. And so I put it on YouTube, and my life changed, and the rest is history. But what I started teaching on YouTube was this idea of metabolic flexibility. You have two metabolisms, one that gets fired up when you eat and you bring glucose up, and one that gets fired up when you fast. And these two systems provide you different fuel sources. The first system, the sugar burner system, gives you glucose. The second system, the fat burning system, gives you ketones. And the goal for a cycling woman is to learn how to move in and out of these two systems. And I often get asked, well, how often should I be in the sugar burner system? And how often should I be in the fat burner system? And so Fast Like a Girl was built around teaching women to cycle this with their hormonal cycle, their menstrual cycle. And we got phenomenal results from that book. I'm here today to tell you firsthand, I got another book coming out. It's called Age Like a Girl. And it'll be out in December. And I'm here to tell you because we got asked by the postmenopausal women, what about me? What about me? So I wrote a whole book for you. And when we metabolically switch, postmenopausal women should spend more time in the fat burning place so you can get more ketones because your brain knows what to do with a ketone more than it knows what to do with a glucose. And I sat with Lisa Mosconi, one of the top neuroscientists and brain researchers, and I interviewed her, and she told me what I just told you. And I said to her, okay, so more fasting for menopausal women. I'm like, do we have any research on this ketone in the menopausal brain? And she was like, no, we don't. But I hear so many great stories about women fasting and getting great brain clarity. And I was like, could you research this? You're Lisa Mosconi. And she was like, yeah, we probably should. And she put her book out called The Menopause Brain and went on tour to tell every woman they needed to get on HRT. And this was the conversation. You can listen to the conversation on my podcast. But we've got to flip, metabolically switch into this place of more ketones. Now, with 5 minutes left, here's the best part. What do ketones do? Here are all the things they do. You have to burn fat to make a ketone. What? I get to power up my brain and lose weight at the same time? Like, sign me up for that. You get GABA production. Remember that irritability you're feeling because progesterone left the building about 10 years ago? Guess what? Progesterone made GABA. But guess what else makes GABA? Ketones. This is why I love ketones. You get better brain energy. You strengthen your mitochondria. You bring neuroinflammation down. Wait, neuroinflammation, isn't that the cause of Alzheimer's? Yep. Ketone will help that. It's neuroprotective. It improves your microbial profile. And in my new book, I have something called Estrogen's Girl Gang. It's like all the neurochemicals that she used to help her do this miraculous job. And one of the things about the Girl Gang is that members of the Girl Gang are GABA, glutamate, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, BDNF. So guess what? Estradiol leaves the building, but guess what can bring her Girl Gang back? The ketone. Every time you're in a fasted state, let me just make this easy. You're calmer, you're more focused, you're motivated, you're happy, and you can learn in a more efficient way. How many people put their patch on and go, oh, yeah, okay. You can get this right now, and it doesn't cost any money. It's free. You don't have to get it from the outside. So how do you get it? Well, research shows at least 15 hours of fasting. I am a big fan of fasting to get your ketones because I think we still need fuel, food. There's a lot of things we need in food. Okay, let's go to a low carbohydrate diet, but this isn't about skipping carbs. It's about skipping man-made carbs. It's about skipping refined flours and sugars and all the bad oils, but sticking to the amazing carbs that nature gave us, which is incredibly helpful. You can add some MCT oil. There's great research about MCT oil really helping people get into a ketogenic state much quicker. Or you could try exogenous ketones. I'm not anti-exogenous ketones. I just like to tell people how to do things for free. So in Fast Like a Girl, I listed them all out. You can read that book. I'm proudly can stand here and tell you that we've sold over 1.5 million copies of that book. So I really appreciate all of you who have been a supporter because it works. It works. I mean, I love reading the reviews still, which is very unusual. Usually I don't like reading the reviews of anything. And then in my new book, Age Like a Girl, I'm bringing forth the food plan for the menopausal woman. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of counting macros. Anybody else tired of counting macros? Like my favorite meme this year was, I'm sorry, I can't go to work. I need to count my protein today. It's like, it's exhausting. So I just made it simple. This is what the menopausal woman thrives off of. And it's it's super easy to look at. The highlights that I don't think we talk enough about, that I go all into in the book, are these root vegetables. Tubers like sweet potatoes have key nutrients for menopausal hormones, and so I talk all about that in the book. But it's simple. Like isn't it frustrating when you have like a really sophisticated diet that you know is going to work, and then you hand it over to your patient, and they're like, oh, I don't really understand. So I needed to make it simple, avoid these foods, add these foods in, fast 15 hours or longer. It's not that difficult. And if you haven't fasted 15 hours or longer, it's the same as if you haven't run 26.2 miles. You have to train for it. You have to get your body in that groove. So these are the ways you do it. It's easy. Everybody can do this. Everybody can do this. I threw HIIT training in there because there is some really interesting research on HIIT training really helping accelerate getting people in general into ketosis. So I had to throw that in there. So I'll finish it. This is my new book. It comes out in December. I am really proving in the book, it's got over 450 peer-reviewed citations, proving that what happens to the brain during the menopausal process is actually working in a woman's favor. I'm not joking. Read the book. And that there's a lifestyle to match to that. And you just got the Cliff Notes version that at the heart of that lifestyle is the ketone. When menopausal women are suffering, we've got to go to the ketone.
So if you love this video, you're gonna wanna check out this video. It's kind of the sucky part of menopause is that we get a toxic dump. So when we look at unwinding the menopausal weight, we've got to look at making you insulin sensitive and look at detox.